Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Thursday, September 9, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Chicago White Sox vs Oakland Athletics. The offense continues to struggle, but the defense looks to lead the Jayhawks this season, with the unit only allowing 14 points in the opening game, after allowing 46 per game last season. The unit is led by senior edge defender Kyron Johnson, who recorded 7 tackles and a sack in the opening game, but also by junior defensive back Kenny Logan Jr., who had 7 tackles and broke up a pass in the game as well. Last Thursday, Coastal Carolina got off to a strong start with a 52-14 win over the Citadel Bulldogs. The Chanticleers outgained the Bulldogs 614-237 in total yardage for the game. 223 of the yards gained by the Citadel came on the ground, and they completed 3 of 6 passes for 14 yards against the Coastal Carolina defense. The hope is that Jared Bean can continue to play well under center, as he had 156 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, while also rushing for 54 yards, but the rest of the unit needs to step up. Bean will look for running back Velton Garner to split carries, while also looking for receivers Mason Fairchild and Trevor Wilson to be open downfield. Coastal Carolina ran the ball 31 times for 266 yards with 5 touchdowns in the season opening win, led by Shamari Jones, who rushed for 100 yards on 9 carries with 2 touchdowns. Sophomore quarterback Grayson McCall completed 16 of 19 passes for 262 yards with a touchdown. After a season where the Jayhawks went 0-9, resulting in head coach Les Miles being fired, Kansas looks to be off to a strong start with a win against South Dakota State 17-14, giving new coach Lance Leipold a lot to be excited about. Unfortunately, the offense continues to struggle as they only scored 17 points in the game and scored only 15.8 points per game last season. The Coastal Carolina Chanticleers went 11-1 last year and 8-0 in the Sun Belt Conference. The lone loss for the Chanticleers came 37-34 to Liberty in the FBC Mortgage Cure Bowl. This year, the Chanticleers were predicted to win the Sun Belt East Division in the preseason coaches poll and are ranked number 17 in the AP Top 25 and number 19 in the coaches poll. My first betting advice is to pick Kansas Jayhawks. In addition to the offense playing well, the defense also looks to be a great unit this season, after allowing only 14 points to Citadel in the opening game. The unit is led by the defensive line with both C.J. Brewer and Travis Geiger Jr. constantly making plays in the trenches, as they combined for 17 tackles in the first game, but also has great players at the second level, with linebacker J.T. Killen, who recorded 7 tackles in the first game, and linebacker Miles Olufemi, who added 6 tackles of his own. For the game, Kansas was outgained 263-245 in total yardage and 14-12 in first downs. South Dakota passed for 98 yards and rushed for 165 yards against the Jayhawks defense. The Chanticleers are led by quarterback Grayson McCall, who had 262 passing yards and a passing touchdown in the first game, but also has plenty of skill players, with senior running back Shamari Jones adding 100 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, and receiver Javen Hiley adding 133 yards and a touchdown as well, giving the offense plenty of options to beat their opponents. Bean is a junior who spent his last 3 years as a North Texas Mean Green member. In 2020, Bean completed 54.5% of his passes for 1,131 yards with 14 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and rushed for 346 yards with 5 touchdowns on 56 attempts. Bean completed 17 of 26 passes for 163 yards with 2 touchdowns and no picks in the win over South Dakota, while also leading the team with 54 rushing yards on 15 carries. Lawrence Arnold, a 6'3" freshman, caught 3 passes for 33 yards with 2 touchdowns in the win. My second betting advice is to pick over. Quick reminder, you can get 125% cashback bonus on your first deposit on our partner sportsbook BetUS after you open an account using our link down below and use our promo code HIGHSTAKES when making your deposit. UTEP vs Boise State. UTEP has a very balanced attack as the Miners are averaging 245 yards rushing and 216 yards passing. The Miners' running game is 27th in the country. Gavin Hardison has passed for 432 yards with 4 touchdowns and has 1 interception. The UTEP quarterback has been sacked twice. Ronald Awatt has 200 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, and the leading receiver is Jacob Cowing with 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an average of 25.9 yards per reception. It appears that the run game is going to have a big impact on the Broncos' season on both sides of the ball. In the season-opening loss versus UCF, Boise State was pushed around at the line of scrimmage and managed just 20 rushing yards on the ground on the day. They also surrendered a whopping 255 rushing yards and 573 yards of total offense in the loss. Through the first 2 games of the regular season, the UTEP defense is ranked 47th in the nation, allowing an average of 15.5 points and just 261.5 yards of total offense. The Miners' defense against the run is allowing an average of only 109.5 yards per game, while the secondary is giving up an average of 152.0 yards per game. UTEP's leading tackler is defensive back Devon Inyang with 12. 4 players for UTEP have each made 1 quarterback sack, and defensive back Dennis Barnes has the only interception. The Broncos suffered a disappointing 36-31 loss on the road against UCF in its season opener last weekend. Boise State raced out to an early 21-0 advantage, but failed to get another going in the second half. Quarterback Hank Bachmeier completed 25 of 39 passes for 263 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception on the day. Both touchdowns went to wide receiver Khalil Shaker, who caught 5 balls for a team-high 91 yards in the loss. After leading 24-7 late in the first half, Boise State was outscored 29-7 over the remaining 30-6, en route to their first loss of the season. My first betting advice is to pick Boise State Broncos -26. Boise State's offense gained just 200 yards rushing in the opening game loss to UCF and 263 yards passing. Hank Bachmeier has passed for 263 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Andrew Van Buren is the leading rusher for Boise State, with 26 yards and 1 touchdown. The leading receiver is Khalil Shaker with 91 yards, 2 touchdown receptions, and an average of 18.2 yards per reception. Hardison has flashed some improvement in his second season as a starter. My second betting advice is to pick over. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.